Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.eliances.com. Now, back to our super host, David Cogan, founder of Eliances.
What an incredible morning it's been. I mean, we started off the show with the president of Goya Foods generating over $1.4 billion in annual sales. And we just had on Ralph Mel from Happy Days, Don Most. Talk about memories. Oh, my. Our next hero, Taylor Barton. Now, you can reach her by going to taylorbarton.com, but she's got some incredible things going on. In fact, Taylor, tell us briefly a little bit about your background, and then I'm going to talk about some of the things you're doing now.
Well, my background is I grew up in Maryland and moved to New York City, where I pursued a career in theater and then became a singer-songwriter and producer myself, and have worked extensively all over the country producing musical events. And most recently, I have been the director of marketing at Hampton Film Festival out here in East Hampton, New York. It's an international film festival, and I've released 8 CDs, a novel, a film, and now this new book.
You have got so much going on. I mean, how in the world do you keep track of it all? Let's talk about some of the musicals that you've produced and stuff. Which was your favorite?
Well, the favorite one is the one that we're going to discuss a little later. I wrote a theatrical piece called Pedro N Pip back in the 90s, and we performed it in New York City, and it was about a rock and roll octopus and a little girl scuba diver who meet underwater after an oil spill. And at the time, I fashioned my octopus off of Bob Dylan because my husband had been traveling with him as his sideman, and I thought his character was great to write about. And at the time, the Exxon oil spill had occurred, and it just seemed like a perfect metaphor for me to use the backstage of rock and roll as what it would be like for underwater creatures who lost their homes, who were traveling gypsies.
Wow. That's
how I got that.
That's fantastic. And we also, too, have Glue with us, too. Glue, you're the producer, and you're part of this. Can you, imagine this again. Now, who's Taylor married to?
She is actually married to G. Smith, longtime music director for Saturday Night Live.
I love it. Now let's talk about, too, I've got a book here, Pedro N Pip, in front of me and stuff. Excellent. Now let's tell me a little bit about this book. I love the pictures in it. I'm definitely a picture person, and I love the different pictures that you have and that. But let's talk about what is the book about?
Well, the book is about what I just described, the rock and roll octopus and the little girl scuba diver. And what is really interesting and I'm super proud of with this book is it is the first book out on iBooks, which is a new platform publishing company that is purely digital. And I am their first client that has merged text with music. So besides the hard copy, as you are looking at, which gets a download card, this is released on a digital platform which is geared towards 4th to 8th graders as a learning experience, a really fun, entertaining learning experience about how kids can become ambassadors for their planet and learn in a musical way, in a rock and roll way, how to take care of catastrophes that might occur in their backyards.
In fact, can you share? Can you share like one of maybe the tips in there or the secrets of what they can do?
Well, one of the tips that they can do is they can pay attention when they're watching and note when there's a catastrophe, and they themselves can embark on starting a charity of their own, which they can easily now address online. And kids have done amazing charities all over our country, raising massive amount of funds for the various causes they love. I happen to love the environment, so I've used that as my template. But I think that's the first tip, that kids can embark and be their own ambassadors and collect their friends, their fans, their schoolmates, and bring them full front to their cause and do a lot of good. And that's the beauty of kids who are growing up in the digital age.
I love it. And you're listening to Eliances Heroes. Be a hero. Go to where entrepreneurs align. Be part of the community. Eliances.com. That's Eliances.com. And we're talking with Taylor Barton. You could reach her by going to taylorbarton.com. Or, of course, you can go to Eliances.com. We'll also have the clip here.
So now, Taylor, this is Glue. Tell me a little bit more about what is the importance of encouraging and creatively inspiring children to be in charge of our planet's future.
Well, for me, kids have choices every day when they get up to either sit on the couch and zone out, or they have choices to go and use the internet, which is where they spend, I would say, 23 out of 24 hours researching and cultivating their lives in the ways we might have used to cultivate our lives, with clubs, with hobbies, with outside sports. Kids spend so much time on digital platforms.
Right,
and why do I think it's important to inspire them? That's where their lives are now. They come in with, they are geared and wired to change the world in a different way than we were.
And Taylor, you developed this book, Pedro N Pip, that includes that 13-song score with it. You developed it with your husband, G.E. And so tell me, how has it been working with him? He's your spouse, of course, and what advice can you give about working with family?
Well, working with family, I don't know. Some people can do it, some people can't. But G.E. and I have always had a very, very strong relationship when it came to producing music. He not just with me, with anybody he's ever worked with, he really knows how to organize and arrange any kind of musical project or production, and he knows how to really zone in and lift whatever is specifically in front of him and make it a magical song, magical sheen, whether it was Dylan or Hall & Oates or Roger Waters or SNL or every guest he's ever played with. I think I can attest to, not just being his wife, he always has been able to lift somebody's special gift and put a beautiful halo on it, so to speak. So working with him has always been very simpatico for me. He knows how to help me bring a melody to a full-fledged song, and he knows the right guys to hire to make it sound the way I want it to sound. And in this particular score, I think we used every genre of song, from rap to Cajun to blues, and G.E., of course, delivered, as he always does, 100%. So working with him, as opposed to him being my husband and loving him, is a extremely rewarding experience.
I got to tell you, you know what, our lines are lighting up here, and I'm getting a lot of texts and stuff. And since you brought up, GE here, a few of these have asked, what do you both talk about when you go to bed? I mean, you work together all the time. What's the conversation like at night?
Well, we're big Netflix fans, so usually we pick some series that we both want to inhale, so we don't do a lot of talking. We've sung ourselves out usually, played enough music, and we just generally go to English series shows on Netflix. We talk about our daughter a lot.
Oh, great.
Or our animals.
How many animals?
Front and center at that point.
How many animals?
We have 2 dogs and a cat. 2 dogs and a cat and a daughter.
Unbelievable. Well, that's a full family. Well, I got to ask you, Glue, do you think that later on we can interview G.E. Smith?
I would love to interview G.E. later.
All right, Taylor.
If he'll stick around.
Taylor, is that good? Good with you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh.
Right here. He'd love to speak with you all.
Excellent, because we'd like to, get his perspective on everything and stuff. I mean, especially, too, he was part of Saturday Night Live and so many things going on. So wonderful. So I'll tell you what, when we return, we're going to have G.E. Smith. And again, this is David Cogan and Glue. And make sure that you go to taylorbarton.com. Make sure you check out her book, Pedro N Pip. It is amazing. I'll tell you what, I've just been glancing through some of it, and I can't wait to read this after our show ends today. Thank you again, David Cogan with Eliances.